Well, we are here at our first ever international and new media conference in London with the help of our Tousi Events team. The reason we are here, the reason we've gathered new media outlets from all around the world is to send a message to the establishment. The new media revolution is not starting. The new media movement is already here.
We created this event because we wanted to bring all together the key new media influencers currently in the world. So we have people from Germany, we have people from Scandinavia. There's also been guests that have come far and wide, and it's just been amazing to see the support for the cause and to discuss free speech in an open and comfortable setting.
Citizen journalists who really are breaking the stories now. Just a random person on the ground with a phone who just happens to be there at the right place at the right time and who has happened to film it. And then it's anyone who has access to a camera and the internet who can comment on it and interpret it and show it to people all around the world. And so you can see that the new paradigm is being born actually in front of our eyes.
We are already winning. We are getting more views than the mainstream.
First off, Tousi is awesome. I really love him. I support him. I think he's doing a fantastic job. I kind of sound like Donald Trump now. He's doing a fantastic job. I want to be here because I support what he's doing. I support the fight for free speech, the fight for freedom.
Where if I drive you to a bank robbery, I can be done for the bank robbery as well. I think if you cover up a grooming gang, you should be deemed part of it. So,
I suppose.
So as far as I'm concerned, lock up Sadiq Khan, lock up Sir Peter Fahey, lock up Keir Starmer, give them all the same prison sentence.
The West has faced threats in the past, but those have always been external. The threats we face now are fundamentally internal, and it's only the new media platforms that are giving coverage to these genuine crises at the heart of the British state, at the heart of our society. And we are culturally, socially, economically, demographically threatened and at risk.
The new media provides alternative opinions and dissenting voices that have been deplatformed by legacy media. It also covers smaller issues or big issues that the legacy media just don't want to cover. Oftentimes you'll find that the legacy media sort of have a couple of things that they really focus on, and they avoid lots of other things that are really, really important. And so people like Maya and people like Visegrad24, Dan Wootton, all of these incredible speakers, what they do in their everyday role is to bring these issues to the forefront and to give an honest opinion about where they think the world is going. And I think you just don't see this level of honesty and integrity with the way that the legacy media is going at the minute.
People don't seem to realize just how many people are watching the new media rather than the old media. And this is a problem that the old media has been struggling with quite a while.
It's been very interesting. It's great to see the people that we see online all the time in person having these discussions together, because obviously we see them talking to their guests, but having them talk alongside each other in the same field is really interesting.
No group of people in this country have been more guilty for lying to the British people for the past 5 years in the most despicable manner. Pakistani Muslim rape gang cover-up over the COVID vaccines, cover up over Tommy Robinson, cover up over the lockdowns, cover up over Brexit. They lied. No. The mainstream media lied. This idea that, oh, it's just the terrible YouTubers that lie.
Yeah, the last 5 years in particular, you've definitely seen this emergence of independence online. As I say, it's going to be really interesting to see where that goes, because we can't have a bunch of people just saying whatever. I think of Candace Owens and her, what she's saying about Brigitte Macron, for example. You can't just have that going on unfettered. At the same time, we don't want to make the same mistakes as that social media. So it's been, as that mainstream media, I say. So I think things are changing rapidly, and it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes. We do need to ensure that we are honest and truthful in our reporting, however.
Who am I incredibly impressed by at the moment? The independent journalists who are standing outside those migrant hotels, very often at great risk to their personal safety.
So in my time as a journalist, I've been threatened, beaten up, had my equipment smashed, had my stuff stolen, been thrown in a cell, strip searched, put on trial, had the police commit perjury against me, and plenty more than that, and then there's all the names and everything. Yeah, this is sort of what you get for being one of the people questioning the narrative, because you are a heretic, you are the infidel, because you go out and you give that alternative narrative.
It offers a fantastic opportunity for new creators to create their own channels and garner huge followings, because it's not censored, it's not edited, it's not restricted in the same way that what we know as the legacy media is.
And for me, it was just about duty. I wanted to go and give people voice. And it was lovely. Like, I get to speak to these people. I'm interviewing people here today, and they actually get to speak, and they get to have a voice for once. And they actually get to have their voice go out to thousands upon thousands of people, because they're the sort of people who don't ever get to say their opinion. They're the sort of people who, a lot of them, you'll get people who are experts, lawyers, doctors, etc., but who would never get a platform on the mainstream media, who never have a chance to share their opinions. And it's about presenting that alternative, because unless we manage to have a counterbalance, we're going to go further left and left and left, and it will take away everyone's rights. We're going to completely lose freedom. We're going to be swamped with mass migration. Right? We're going to have more and more children abused, perverted into, cutting off their own genitalia, etc. And our society is going to fall apart.
So I'm so grateful that the media are all coming together. But what's more important is these young men that are going out with their cell phones and videoing all these hotels and letting everybody know what's happening. They thought they'd sneak everybody in and nobody would notice, but everybody's got a cell phone now and everybody is media. So it's brilliant. They're the real media, the ones that are out on their bikes, finding out exactly what's going on.
I'm tired of being given false information, and for me it's about doing my research, following my heart, and seeing where the truth is leading me.
People are unable to discern the facts because they have this facade of being impartial or somehow more credible than the other sources on the ground, when in fact they are the ones actually citing designated terrorist organizations for their statistics and refusing to call them terrorists on the BBC.
And only by suppressing those of us who are actually saying that the emperor has no clothes do they think they can stay in power and keep their monopoly hold. But we know that that's the way that tyrants inevitably fall down, and the British people aren't falling for it. But the amount of power the state now has to censor online content, to silence critics, is so terrifying that never before has any power in history had this much power. This makes 1984 and Big Brother pale into insignificance. So we're at a very crucial moment.
The general population experiences what it means to live among the regular general population, which is why the people who now have access to social media and YouTube and Rumble and other channels, who can now be the voice of the people, replace the dishonest, the lacking, the out-of-touch mainstream media, which is why this here is very important.
They're beholden to their donors, they're beholden to the government, often who, in terms of the BBC and Channel 4.
As far as I'm aware, almost none of the people here have big backers. Almost all of it is grassroots. And so there's no one that they are beholden to at the end of the day. And so if a story breaks or if something interesting happens that people want to talk about, they can just click a button, go live, pull up a bunch of Twitter links, and suddenly there we are. The breaking news can be done literally within the hour.
But we also have to make sure that when we are replacing the media, we have to do it truthfully. There are lots of people who take advantage of this, who spread fake news, who just say whatever, will rile people up. We have to be truthful, we have to be precise, we have to represent the population properly and speak to the population. And as long as we do that, we can do a noble thing of replacing the rotten mainstream media in a very honorable way.
Well, the ethos of our new party is squarely in line, I think, with the ethos of the people who are gathering here today, which is basically nation state, freedom of speech. This is all about freedom of speech, democracy and equality under the law. And, frankly, Advance UK is the only party that stands for those four things.
Firstly, they started to treat you like children. Because if you're a voter in this country, and as far as I'm concerned, you're a shareholder in this country, you have an interest in it, and it's your legal system.
Kind of self-moderates, firstly journalism and secondly activism. If we don't do it ourselves, we'll kind of lead into an infinite regress of doing stunts that could potentially risk other people's safety at protest events. So it's really good to have these events that kind of self-moderate and also network, of course. The opportunities that I've been given by the people that I hear are immense, and I'm very thankful.
There are good people and bad people in every group and tribe, whether that's in the Nazis themselves, in the Jewish prisoners at that point. Every group has its good and its bad, and I think we have to always keep track of that. We're supposed to be the bastions of free speech here. Listen to him and then let the other people on stage argue their points back to him. That's how it needs to be, and I think we need to be a lot better at that if we're going to rival the mainstream media.
I mean, we're so close to the beginning of the internet. We're only about 30 years into widespread internet usage that people forget that this is really the patterns and the norms of the future being set in the present.
We went from then to cable TV where there's like hundreds of channels to choose from, to now completely evolving away, and now the content and the potential for content is limitless, really.
New media is happening because of grassroots movements. We are simply delivering what you want. And that's why it's happening. The establishment don't get it. They think we are creating chaos. You guys were already hooligans, we're just delivering it.
For me, it's extremely important that platforms such as Tousi TV, GB News, Andrew Gold's Heretics, Losis, they're speaking to young people who normally within young circles of young people would be socially ostracized for saying what they think. And not listened to at all. So that's why new media is extremely important, not just for the general population, but in particular young people whose voices are not normally heard on this side of the debate.
The point here is that we have to find a new way to fight back. We're going to create our own associations for press, for media, and this is just the beginning.
It's been super fun. I think the energy has been incredible because everybody here shares the same ethos. They all believe in the power of new media and holding legacy media to account. It's really important that new media creators can be platformed so that we can have a much more varied spread of news to make sure that all different things that the legacy media aren't covering are being covered.
Thank you for coming and supporting all of us. Your support means a lot to us. It's always lovely coming to these places because usually, you know, I walk down the street, not many people know who I am, and then you come to these places and people go, my God, I love your show. And it's always nice for us creators to hear that. So do keep telling us that, because we see it written in comments from anonymous profiles or even profiles with names in it, but actually getting real people coming over to us shows us how important the work we're doing is for people. So please keep doing that.
Well, today was an absolutely successful day at our first ever new media conference. We've had obviously new media outlets from all over the world, in Europe, Israel, the US, and everybody managed to actually get something out of it. We've had a lot of people promoting their channels. We've had a lot of people meeting each other and decided to collaborate. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Maya Tousi, and we are the media.